Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today, we're going to be talking about Black history here in America. I've had Javon Williams on the show, and we're going to just have a general conversation about Black history since today is Juneteenth. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. Good afternoon, Javon. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing good. Yeah.
Oh, I like the all black you got on, and I love your background as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cold in the house where I'm at. I'm in the Bay Area. I have a
Okay.
training tomorrow, so I came up a day early. I'm like, it's cold. I didn't bring my bigger coat.
Yeah, yeah. So what are you doing tomorrow? Training?
Yeah. I opened up a Lamont's house. So I'm gonna be doing like senior living. So I
Oh,
need to get my certifications for that. Yeah, wherever I can help and give love.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I'll be doing that for the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, so your training is for 2 weeks?
2 weekends. Yeah. So you
Okay.
have to have like a certain amount of hours. So it starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and again next week. And yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
12 hour, I believe it's like 12-hour days though.
Okay. Wow. That's
Mhm.
gonna be exciting when you finally finish everything.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay. So why don't you introduce yourself and we can just go from there?
Sure. Hello, my name is Javon Williams. I am the founder and CEO of the Lamont Myers Foundation. The purpose of the Lamont Myers Foundation is that we educate and spread awareness about the dangers of drugs, fentanyl. We go out and we help our communities. There's instances where a parent or guardian has been, just lost a child, and however we can help, if we can provide food, groceries, and resources, whatever we can do to help that person, that's what we do. And we're also dabbling off into other avenues as far as like senior living. More things to come, more things
Yeah.
to come. It's about the community. How can we help the community? In addition to that, I am a mother of a lived experience who lost her son to a fentanyl poisoning. So, however, I can be there with my boots on the ground with my other peers to help someone, who's going through the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
It's gonna be interesting when we get into this conversation because I do have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
to,
open book.
yeah, you know, but we're gonna so let's talk a little bit about Juneteenth. I got just gonna read a little bit. It
Okay.
says Juneteenth officially is a National Independence Day. It's a federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated annually on June 19th to I can't pronounce this word. The ending of slavery in the United States.
Yeah. Come
So
on.
pretty much, Joe Biden signed the National Independence Day Act law in June 17, 2021, making it a federal holiday and just giving national recognition to the emancipation, of Black folks.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing about doing this research is this started actually in Texas through the Major General Gordon Granger. And so it started in Texas, but slavery was not abolished in every state.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Thank you. Yeah,
And so think about that. And I was reading this, I couldn't even imagine, um, because in some way, somehow, I mean, I know word got out, however, they was doing things back then, or the style of communication,
yeah,
they was bringing slaves from one place to another state or what have
yeah,
they did it. But I couldn't even imagine the state of mind that
yeah,
these folks were in when
yeah.
they were still enslaved, but
Hmm.
they knew that these some of these other states
Yeah, we're free.
were
Yeah.
free. So
Hmm.
being in that frame of mind, how do you think that that affected their mental health? I mean, we wasn't there, but we could just only imagine. You know,
Yeah,
do you feel
yeah,
like that brought them some type of hope, or like let's talk about that?
yeah, yeah. I can imagine, like, just for them, I'm looking at it like too, like they were like, of course they were like, words get around fast, and
Yeah,
I believe they were like hoping and things like that. But they're trained to this is what time, let's just say this is what time you
right,
eat. This is
right.
what time you gotta go pick cotton. I hope I'm saying the right thing. This is the
Yeah,
time you gotta go clean.
yeah,
So it's like whatever the master say.
yeah,
Some of them wasn't probably as rebellious or whatever,
yeah,
rebellious.
yeah,
And so they would probably pray, and sung their songs, but that's just awful. And then probably didn't want something to happen to their family, maybe
yeah,
different masters or whatever,
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to cause it, but I can just imagine the trauma.
Yeah.
So
And
traumatizing.
oh yeah. And even thinking about some of the women who were raped,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
I thought about how did that make their husband feel and their
yeah,
children too. you know,
yeah,
but just to see that or
yeah,
hear that,
yeah,
and then obviously the woman was either maybe killed or had to go back to the house.
yeah,
Whichever happened, just that
yeah,
trauma of knowing that you have no rights. Everything
yes.
about you, pretty much you
Hmm.
were owned.
Yeah,
Like he was a
yeah.
criminal.
It's like, yeah, it was, you wouldn't have any human rights, like you were
Yeah,
property.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I think about that sometimes,
yeah,
doing this research at how
yeah,
some of those people felt
yeah,
in regards to that.
yeah. Yeah, I don't want to go off into too much, but I'm so honest, and
Yeah,
it right. Some people still have, unfortunately, some people still have that same mentality,
yeah,
and the way how I see it is like this is what they were taught.
right.
Different aspects, but for the most part, this is what they were taught, and this is what they believe in, and I just hate to see that,
Yeah,
because it happens to all of us,
yeah,
but I see it a lot. Hmm.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you're right. Even as we I work in I work in Placer County, I'll just say that.
yeah,
And
okay,
even, in those particular areas, you can tell. I remember when I first started working out there, I would, speak to folks and,
yeah, yeah,
folks,
you can feel it.
oh, they wouldn't
Mhm.
speak back at all,
Yeah.
like at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
And I remember me sitting, because for my lunch, I'll just get in my car and I just
Yeah,
go down the street and I park. And I remember this lady
yeah,
walking up to my car, white lady, and
yeah,
she was like, knocked on my car window, and she was
yeah,
like, who are you coming to see here? And I was
yeah,
like, pretty much like nobody. And
yeah,
she pretty much said like, I don't belong here. I need to leave. And And to be
Yeah.
honest with
Very
you,
rude.
yeah, my
Hmm.
heart was beating fast
Yeah.
because that never really happened to me. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want this situation to escalate. She was
Yeah.
what we call a
Yes.
Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
my train of thought was, what did she call the police? And they
Yeah.
come. And I mean, she was so
Yeah.
aggressive,
Yes.
about me
Yes.
moving
Yeah.
out of this particular area.
Yeah.
And I kind of gave her a little bit pushback. Wasn't
Yeah.
disrespectful at all, but
Yeah.
I did move. I did move.
Yeah. Yeah.
100% move.
And yeah, I was walking, what do you call it? Well, I was walking to see where my 5K was, just testing out the route. And I don't
Yeah.
really know what's going on. It was this guy, Caucasian guy. He like, move out the way, and I'm like, okay, but I'm like, it kind of scared me because you don't know, like, you don't know if
Yeah.
they're gonna come back or you don't want to say the wrong thing or
Right.
it's
Right.
very uncomfortable. Or
Yeah.
even you somewhere and you walk into a room and people are just there, and you
Yeah.
like hi or you don't know. It just feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a good feeling for some of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My supervisor is a Caucasian lady
Hmm.
who has she's very knowledgeable, I say that. And I
Hmm.
remember me telling her about that, and she felt so bad, and she all pretty much she
Yeah.
tells me like, watch
Yeah.
yourself, and
Yeah. Yeah.
she kind of give me the heads up, like even when
Hmm.
we leaving go to lunch,
Yeah.
she's like, oh, okay, but just be careful,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because she knows. I mean, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
say too much, but because I don't know.
Yeah. But there's good people out there. There's
It
definitely
is.
good people out there,
It is.
different other than our race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
the ones
100%.
that was taught this or think that, we should still be, that's the ones I'm talking about,
Right. Yeah.
because it's like, it's not okay. You
Yeah.
can't treat people wrong. We all, I see no color.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
all bleed the same. We all
Exactly.
have hearts.
Right. Yeah.
We all have hearts and should be respected. Even
Yeah.
like my puppies, my dogs, I love them to death.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody's is putting together. I don't know. I just believe in love. I
Yeah.
believe in love and equality,
Yeah.
but unfortunately that's what happens. And I just had a conversation. I was in a meeting with a lady. She's helping me with my business plan.
Yeah.
And we were talking, we touched a little bit about that subject. And, she was saying she was at somewhere and the guy called her, the N word.
Oh yeah.
And she said, if that was, she's like 57. She said, if that was like 20 some years ago, it'd have been on. And she said, but I thought to myself, you're going to respond to that, you
Right.
know? So that's what
Yeah.
we got to teach. We can't, we got to teach
Yeah.
those, them, we
Yeah.
can't be, responding, oh, because
Yeah.
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
And
then what? Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
exactly. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the lady, it's called My View, My Opinion, and she was
Mm,
kind of
okay.
talking about the same thing. She was saying how, if a Caucasian called me the N-word, she said, "Do you think I'm
Yeah.
going to lose my job
Yeah.
over a word or
Yeah.
go to jail over a
Yeah.
word?" She was like,
Yeah.
she was just encouraging folks like, "Come
Yeah.
on, we got to change our way of thinking. That's
Hmm.
their issue,
Hmm.
not ours."
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know,
absolutely.
we know that
Mhm.
we're not
Yeah.
enslaved. We're
Hmm.
free. We got a lot
Yes.
more opportunities
Yes.
than our,
Absolutely.
ancestors did.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, that
Yeah.
makes sense to me. But
Hmm.
to the younger generation, they may
My
not have
goodness.
those type of restraints to
Yeah.
hold.
At all.
You know, yeah,
At all.
yeah.
Hmm.
They,
Hmm.
they're yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a different
Hmm.
situation with them.
They're
But
so disrespectful these days. My
yeah,
goodness. What water are they drinking?
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
need to teach them,
yeah,
like respect. But yeah, they're really like,
yeah,
yeah, and I feel bad.
yeah.
Like and they don't even have to know like if this person is, because the color of their skin, whatever. That don't mean that they're prejudice, you know. I
Yeah,
don't just I'll be like, oh no, that's when I'll be like, no, we cannot do that. We cannot
yeah,
disrespect people.
yeah.
But yeah, it's different these days.
How do you think this generation with their mentality would have fit into slavery back then? I'm talking about the same
Yeah,
generation now, put them back then and take out,
yeah.
remove our ancestors. It would have been a different ball game.
It would have been a different ball game. But then too, you know, these days, you know, they have the drugs, you
Right.
know, so these
Yeah.
youngsters, they have dual diagnosis and I
Yeah.
don't even know or do know.
Yeah, a lot of them do have mental health
Hmm.
challenges. And, I think that to try to tie this in, I think that a lot of those issues may be tied to
Yeah.
substance or,
Hmm.
um,
Other traumas,
family
yeah.
homes or,
Yeah.
not having a dad or a mom
Hmm.
around and things like
Yeah.
that. And
Hmm.
so they
Yep.
don't really know how to cope with
Yeah.
reality like
Yeah.
we've done. And that's why I think
Yeah.
too, you see a lot of the police brutality come in that because when we get pulled
Yes.
over,
Yes.
because we already have a lack of trust with the
Yes.
law
Yes.
enforcement system.
Hmm.
So when they get
Yes.
pulled over, they're
Hmm.
automatically defensive or
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
automatically like, oh,
Hmm.
you're not gonna kill me. So they do
Yeah.
it the best way
Yeah.
they know how.
But that's the most uncomfortable thing, like,
It is.
you know, getting pulled over. Like,
It Let me tell you
you know,
something.
some
It
officers you can tell right away, like they're
oh,
okay, but some like,
100%.
goodness. Hmm.
100%. I got pulled over. This was years ago.
Yeah.
In Walmart parking lot.
Hmm.
Well, he pulled me off the street and
Hmm.
guided me into Walmart parking lot. And he was a young guy,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
about 20.
Hmm.
Maybe 20, I would say about 22, 23. And
Hmm.
so, he was so like aggressive, very
Yeah.
aggressive, very aggressive. And I think I
Yeah.
had like a tail light out or some, and he was
Yeah.
so aggressive. And immediately I just noticed how he was talking to me, how he was handling the situation. I felt like
Yeah.
he was gung-ho, like he was
Yeah.
waiting for me to make
Yeah.
the wrong
Hmm.
move or say the wrong
Yeah.
thing. That
Hmm.
situation was totally different.
Yeah.
But I
Hmm.
sat there and,
Yes,
did
sir.
what he wanted me to
Hmm.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got him my license registration, did all of that. And, he
Yeah.
was like, well, you need to get this taken care of. And he calmed
Yeah.
down towards the end when he saw that I wasn't hyper and
Yeah.
aggressive,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought that
Hmm.
was interesting, but I did tell him before he left my
Yeah.
car, and I told him, I said, everybody that you pull over is not aggressive, are not
Yeah.
aggressive. Now he knew
Yes.
what I was trying to
Yes.
say. I didn't say
Yeah.
black, but he
Hmm.
thought
Yeah.
I was insinuating to him. And I
Yeah.
said, and I asked him, I said, well, how long have
Yeah.
you been an officer? He said, I
Mhm.
think he said less than a year or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I told him, I was like, just your approach to me. I told him, I
Yeah.
said, put me on edge. I said,
Yes.
as Black people don't
Yeah.
have the best experience with
Yeah.
law enforcement. But I said, you should
Yes.
try to take a different approach until
Yeah.
somebody show you something different.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I
Mm.
felt that he was convicted because he just
Okay.
assumed,
Yes.
you know
Good.
what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable because you
Yeah.
don't know
Hmm.
what's going to happen. You don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like even here today, I hope I'm not going off the subject. You know, I'm Aquarius, so my mind's just thinking about
Yeah.
everything. But, you know, even with our young, you know, folks, you know, the guys, you know, the baggy pants and, you
Yes.
know, or you go somewhere and it's like you're acting a fool. You're not to act like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, things like that. But
Yeah.
then it's like everybody's different, you know, we're
Yeah.
based off with somebody else and we all different, you know,
Right.
we're not the same, you
Yeah.
know, but you know, we gotta teach, you know, our young folks, our people better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause everybody's, you know, it's not prejudice. You know, I love everybody. I love
Yeah.
everybody. But yeah, it's I just hate to see that, you know, like I was speaking to some boys This was a couple months ago. And I'm kind of like old school, how
Yeah,
they tell you, well, you only have, one strike against you, and I,
yeah,
I was basically telling them that, but it's okay to smile, look
right.
at people in their
Mhm.
eyes.
Yeah,
You look at
yeah,
somebody, smile. You don't have to smile at everybody, but just you don't have to have
yeah.
that look on your face.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, exactly. That's
hmm
100% correct. And I know
yeah,
what
shake
you're talking
shake
about.
hands.
Yeah,
hmm
the tough man look.
Yeah.
I think I have a younger brother. I try to talk with him,
Yeah.
and he always tell me that's your generation.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's what
and
they say. Yeah.
oh yeah, he trust me,
Uh,
he lets me know that.
uh,
And I have to be very strategic
yeah. Yeah.
at how I'm able to teach him because
Yes.
he's set in his ways.
hmm
He's
Yes.
very
Yes.
stubborn, very strong
Yes.
will.
Yeah.
And so I had to drop little nuggets,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I think, Javon, to be honest with you, I'm like, how can he not understand
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Because
Yes. Yes.
everything that you've been trying,
hmm
it's not working out for
It's
you.
not working. Yeah.
So
You,
why
more
can't you
stuff. Yeah.
see this?
Mhm.
Yeah, so try
Yeah.
something different. And
hmm
so I have to be
Stubbornness.
very
Yeah.
strategic at how, I'm able to drop those little gems,
Yeah. Yeah.
living the life.
Yeah.
And,
hmm
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and they're listening.
yeah,
They're
they are.
listening,
They
but they
definitely
don't want,
listen.
they're not going to show us that they're listening.
Exactly. That's
And I
exactly.
hate it because you go outside the house and you get the wrong information from somebody else, and it's like, no. Or the good, or it might be good where they like, okay, they do better. I
Yeah.
guess they don't want us to know that we're right.
Yeah.
Certain
No, I
things.
agree with that.
hmm
I agree with that.
hmm
So when our ancestors, whoever was in slavery,
hmm
a lot of the times the children were taken from them and sold
Yeah.
to slave masters and things like
hmm
that. So
Yeah.
there was a disruption within the
mhm,
black family right
Yes.
there. Do you
Yes.
think that may be a result of some of the things that's going on today within the black families with the, broken homes or the youth? Do you think a lot of that may have stemmed from that was passed down from
Yeah.
generation to generation?
Yeah. I think some of it, yeah, like still today, like my family, my dad, he's from Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And we hear their stories about how they used to stay on the plantation and
Um,
my great grandfather, he was white, so we hear stories like
um,
that. So
yeah.
I'm sure other households, talk about the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just trickled down,
Yeah.
yeah. And it can just take modern, just one bad experience,
Yeah.
I think everyone have been through
Yeah.
that. Everyone. It
Yeah.
can be vice versa, the black person, picking on a white person, whatever. But it's
Yeah.
Juneteenth. But yeah.
Yeah.
But we have experienced a lot,
Yeah.
what being hung, houses burning down,
Hmm.
um, like
Yeah.
you said, children being slave, wives being raped, men
Yeah.
being killed in front of their children, or that
Yeah.
is so horrific.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only
Mhm.
imagine what mentally, you go, yeah, I just couldn't even imagine. Like,
Yeah.
their mental health was definitely at an all-time low. And,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it just, yeah, just
hmm
couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Just because of
Have
color of your skin.
yes. Have you seen the movie? What was the movie? 12 Slave?
Oh,
Did
well,
you
of course
watch
I
that?
did on Netflix.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that
Very
was
informative.
awful.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
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 100%. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then,
it's a sister in there. What was her name? Angela Davis.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is when she went to court for herself and defended herself. And she got
Yeah,
off. I think they had her on America's Most Wanted or
I
that.
remember seeing a little bit about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
She was a very intelligent woman, and she went and she represented herself in court, and they dropped
yeah,
the charges.
yes, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing her back in the days. Yeah, she was. What was the thing she was in again? The
She
Panthers,
the
right?
Black Panther, yeah. And I think she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
also, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was a professor. I want to say at UC Berkeley, somewhere in the Bay Area. She was a professor too.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember that now.
yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, I grew up in Fillmore in San Francisco. So I remember hearing a little bit about those stories, and I believe one of my uncles, he was in, the Black Panther, and it was something about that. He had to go to my one of our ancestors' funeral with handcuffs on,
Wow.
things like that. But yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. I think that, yeah, I think that she was in, I don't think she was in the movement, and
Yeah,
she was like, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna get
yeah.
my degree, and I'm gonna
Yes,
educate others. Yeah,
yes.
empower others.
That's
Hmm.
exactly right. She
Yeah,
got a doctorate degree. I think
yeah,
too that the more we're talking about this, so
hmm,
we graduated from slavery,
yeah,
and we, fast forward, we, got, rights and
hmm,
all of this stuff. But still there
hmm,
was a barrier because
yeah,
we had as
hmm,
Black people, we had to continue
yeah,
fight for
yes,
equality through Malcolm
yes,
X, Dr.
hmm,
Martin Luther King.
and yes, hmm,
There was leaders
hmm,
out there that
yeah,
really had to provide some type of
yeah,
movement, Black Panthers
yes,
mostly, so
hmm,
that Black people can pretty much
yeah,
be equal to white.
yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes,
And so you think about all the way back in 1865, we
hmm,
were supposed to be free. We supposed
yeah,
This stuff was supposed to be eliminated.
yeah, yeah, yes,
But here we are in the 19 what
yeah,
60s and 40 whatever
yeah,
50s.
and for
There's
more.
still
Hmm.
we're still
Yeah,
fighting for
yeah,
equality. You
yeah,
know?
we're still fighting. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it still exists,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and person can say, no, you're wrong, but it still exists. It still exists. You just, even if you going for a certain job, or you're in Starbucks or whatever, or
Yeah.
like you say, I'm just sitting in my car. Is it, and you get a stare like you're not
Oh
supposed to
yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
It still exists.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And certain positions we can't get,
Yeah.
or yeah, it still exists, and it just should be just love and equally,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have some of those that still believe that this is how it should be. But
Yeah.
shout out to the ones that don't, that help us.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
How important was Obama being elected as the first Black president? How important was that to our or to Black history?
You know what? I feel that it was very important.
Yeah.
I want to always like to see what do you do, what you doing,
Yeah.
what you because you can be the face, but
Yeah.
I really feel, to be honest, I really feel like there's other people that's running this, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, and I also feel that there's only so much that you can do and
Yeah.
that you can't do.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is screwed up because there's so many layers to it that gotta be fixed. And
Yeah.
it's gonna take more than 8 years.
Yeah.
If we all on the same page, we can make it happen,
Yeah.
but it's just so many layers. I just got to be honest, and one person can't do it. We all got to
Yeah.
believe in the same thing and be on the same page
Yeah.
to see things happen.
Yeah, I think that, a lot of people that I've talked to, I think it was very significant, especially Black people and some white folks too, to
Yeah,
be truthful
yeah,
with you. But
hmm,
for those who voted for him, Black or white, whatever
yeah,
color, I think that that meant a lot that the system at that
Yeah.
period of time was finally being broken up to the point
Yeah.
where it's just not all, these
Yeah.
skin color men
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
voted into the White House.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. We heard the rumors, even after he got office. Oh, he didn't do nothing. He didn't do
yeah,
this. But it's like he can only do so much. I'm glad that he's alive, because
yeah,
back in the days, our former other presidents, they were killing him.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, I didn't get into too much about what he did. I don't know. I wasn't into it like that, to be honest with you. But I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
glad that,
Yeah.
he made
For the
history.
opportunity. Yeah, the
Yeah, pretty
opportunity. Yeah.
much. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And even when Hillary Clinton was running for
Yeah.
president, I
Yes, I
just
was happy for her. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
just things are changing, things are shifting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do agree that there are people
Mhm.
that's behind the scenes that's definitely
Yeah.
running things for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Just like we at work, where we can be doing this, the front face, but we have orders we gotta follow. I'm sorry, I can't cash your check. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I can't give you this refund. I'm sorry.
yeah,
So policy rules.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
They so I've watched documentaries
Hmm.
that they was showing about the Reagan administration and things like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And they were saying that, but this just what was being, taught or talked about in a documentary that drugs, it was like the war on drugs or whatever. And they were
Yeah.
saying that, drugs was being brought into this country
Yeah.
to pretty much, to eliminate or
The
destroy.
black people. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I've heard
And
about that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
Yeah.
so interesting when I was watching this documentary on me because they was breaking it down. And
Yeah.
obviously, being from Chicago, I've had a lot of
Okay. Yeah.
family
Oh, yeah.
members and people I knew
Mhm.
in the neighborhood. A lot of
Yeah.
people was addicted to crack cocaine.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
And and so the more I got to listen to that, then of course I obviously had to do
Hmm.
my research. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it didn't sound far-fetched because when my mom them was growing up, I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't, according to her, and my uncles them, they didn't have all of that going on. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like
Yeah.
drugs
Yeah.
here and there you see it was there, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It was like an overload.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
the crack cocaine came on the scene, it just like
Yes.
wiping people out.
Just, yeah. It was taking them out. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
what do you
remember.
think
Yeah.
about that? Do you think that there's some truth to that, or do you just think like, is
You know what? See, I didn't watch that documentary, but I lived it.
yeah,
I came from a lived experience when
yeah,
my
yeah,
mother was on drugs heavily.
yeah,
But you know, I you know, I think because anybody can get their hands on it. It was about money. I think it
yeah,
was about the money,
yeah,
about the money. Yeah. And no, I probably shouldn't say that. But they say, when people go to jail, they get more money for that. So people
oh,
that's
oh yeah,
committing crimes. I know you heard about that too.
oh,
I
100%.
think that can be a conspiracy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's about the money. It's
yeah.
about the money.
One thing I noticed though, with the crack cocaine epidemic, what this what I'm gonna call it, it was, if not probably predominantly black people
Yeah.
addicted to that.
Yeah.
Everywhere
Hmm.
you went, you saw it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you
You
went.
saw it. Yeah. People were cooking it. They knew how to
Yeah.
cook it.
But it's
Mhm.
interesting, you didn't see a lot of black whites being affected by that.
I did not. You're
No,
right. I did
no.
not.
But
Mhm.
check this out. So we passed that phase and all that, but when
Yeah.
opiates came on the scene, that
Mm,
was more of a Caucasian thing than blacks.
yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you start
Yeah.
seeing a lot of the that from
Yeah.
Caucasians, you know,
Yeah.
and then now they want
Yeah.
to kind of put laws in place. They want to do
Yes.
something about it because it was
Yeah.
affecting, it was in their backyard, so to
Everybody.
speak. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And another thing they talked about in this documentary too was they were
Mm.
talking about how when someone, especially like a first time offender, got
Uh-huh.
caught trying to sell crack cocaine, even if a small amount,
Uh-huh.
they give
Yeah.
them automatic like 10 years, which is crazy to me.
Yes. I
First
remember.
time offenders,
Yes. Hmm.
first time
Yeah.
offenders. But
Yes.
he was saying that they knew that that was, African Americans' drug of choice.
Yes.
So,
Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, can you send me that documentary? I want to look at that
yeah,
whenever you get a chance.
I
Yeah.
will look it up and I'll send you the link. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was deep. It was
Yeah.
very deep, you know.
Yeah,
So they
I
do,
remember hearing about that. People saying that. Yeah, like
yeah,
they polluting our neighborhoods with this stuff, like the liquor stores.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
And so they was trying to tie that into that's still a form of slavery. In other words,
Hmm.
they're trying different methods to
Yeah.
stay in control. That's
Yeah.
what they were
Yeah.
trying to say, to stay in
Yeah.
control in so many
Yeah.
words and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that
That's
was
why
pretty,
we have voices. That's why we have voices, and people I talk to.
yeah,
Our children are our future.
yeah,
Even our users. We got to educate them too.
yeah,
That people gonna do what they want to do, but in the back of their head. We
yeah,
can never stop talking about it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about black on black crime.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
what do you think about that? And I can definitely
It's
speak to it.
awful. It's
Yeah,
awful. I just went to somebody, they had a little townhouse, and it was with some community leaders in Sacramento. They did a phenomenal job, just
yeah,
educating, but um it's awful.
yeah,
One of the persons I know, her daughter was 3 years old and she was shot. They were trying to get somebody else.
yeah,
Another lady, her daughter got shot. It's ridiculous. It's awful.
yeah,
I wish they would put the guns down and they're have this thing now. June is like Pride Month and also gun violence month, where you wear orange, they're trying to
yeah,
promote that heavily. Yeah, but it's awful, both ways, the person who who caused it,
yeah.
and the person who's gone and but then at the end of the day it's like your family could come see you.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. I think that with the black on black crime, I mean, just growing up in Chicago, that was the norm, to be honest. It was
Mm.
the norm, the gun
Yes.
and the drugs.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
I noticed that, and the documentary was kind of talking about this too, because the narrator, he was just trying to tie all this stuff in together to talk
Hmm.
about modern day
Yeah.
slavery.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Hmm.
he was saying how, even with those guns being put out there, he was like, well, where are these, folks in these black,
Yeah.
neighborhoods? Where are they getting these guns from? Like, where they getting,
Right.
like how are they
Yes.
get a hold of these guns? And
Yes.
he was saying some of
Hmm.
these, guys or girls, they're like 12, 13.
Yeah.
They're
Hmm.
young. Like, how are
Yeah.
they getting a hold of that?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and he was
Hmm.
talking about, you kind of put them
Yeah.
in,
Hmm.
a situation, neighborhood situation
Yep.
where everybody
Hmm.
frustrated because they got all these
Yeah.
issues going on and
Yeah.
poverty and so
Hmm.
it's like a big situation where now
Yeah.
everybody's turning each other, you know,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
get a lot of when that crime do happen or murder do happen,
Hmm.
it's not really, it seems not to be as fully investigated or as important
Yeah.
when that happens.
Yes. Yes. The
But
case closed. Hmm.
yeah,
Case closed. Yep.
But
closed
you
cases. Yeah.
see a black person doing something to somebody white, then it gets
Yeah.
headlines, they're going off
Hmm.
then they're investigating, they use
Yeah.
resources. So it's just stuff
Yeah.
like that to get to,
Yeah.
think about
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I do see that. Yeah.
yeah,
Like some people, they get their case solved or whatever, and some people don't. It's
yeah,
like you just gotta live your life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Because
not
they have
just,
more resources. Or do you think
yeah.
because they have more resources? Well, how can we get your resources?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not to say every person, like you said, is like that,
Yeah.
but the ones that
Hmm.
refuse to change with the times,
Yes.
they're the
Yes.
ones they're the problem,
Mhm.
not
Yes.
not part of the
Yes.
solution, so to speak.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So,
It's awful though. Hmm.
yeah. Even with medical care, I'm telling you, this thing runs so deep. Even in the
Yeah.
medical care, you still see that um, discrimination I'm gonna just say a little
Yeah.
bit of discrimination. I'll use that
Yeah.
word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
remember going to the doctor, this was years ago,
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
doctor, it was a physician assistant that
Hmm.
was seeing me. And
Yeah.
she was Caucasian, and she was so um I just noticed right away she wasn't a people person, number one.
Oh
And number
yeah.
two, I felt it
Yeah.
was because of me. And then I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like, because when you in that field,
Yeah.
you have to be compassionate and
You
you got to
have
be
to. Yeah.
warm. And because,
Hmm.
people are dealing with
Yes.
stuff physically, which is
Physically,
ultimately it
mentally.
can
Yeah.
affect their mental health. And
Yes.
man,
Yes.
she was just so rough. And I ain't gonna lie, I had to tell, I had to
Yeah.
tell I did. I had to tell her. I just didn't like the way she was dealing with me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and I was
Hmm.
already a little bit on the edge when I went. I don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for me.
Yeah. Made
But
it worse. Yeah.
yeah, but I
Mhm.
just noticed that the way that she was handling me. Even
Yeah.
my mom is older. When she goes to the doctor, she kind of talked to me about
Hmm.
how some of the doctors, deal with her and
Yes.
stuff like that. And this
Yeah.
is me and her
Hmm.
have had ongoing conversations about stuff like this. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to be able to see it and identify it to know
Yes.
when it's going on. You
Yeah.
know,
And you can feel it,
yeah,
like you just brought something back with me. This was last week. I was in the grocery store. The guy before me, he was Caucasian. The checker was, speaking, the register guy was speaking to him, saying like words. And then when I got up there, he didn't say anything, and I wasn't gonna say anything because I'm just want to sit back. Now I'm being observant because I know I'm gonna
right.
come back here and I'm gonna remember you. And so, then he finally go, hi, but everything was short. Like he didn't want to give me my money. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Those instances. Yeah. And I'm walking, of course, I'm looking, and you like, greeting the next person, and
right.
and yeah, we definitely experienced those in our grocery stores, our doctor's office,
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's so unfortunate, and I think too, some of the uh, other races may have had a bad experience
Hmm.
with,
Yeah, yeah,
different people,
yeah.
and I think that
Hmm.
some people just automatically put us all in the same box when
Hmm.
we're all
Hmm.
different. I don't care what race you are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You can pick good and bad out of each race,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I don't think it's fair to,
Hmm.
just to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at somebody and just say, "Oh, you're like this, you're like that," or
yeah,
you're in the store, let
yeah.
they pull their
Hmm.
purses close to them, they pull their kids. I'm very
Yeah.
mindful of that. I mean, I've been
Yes.
programmed. Like when I go
Yep.
in, and even at the gym, that's when I went to the gym and I saw,
Yeah.
it was a white.
Mhm.
It was in this area. It was two young white girls. They had to be about like
Mhm.
12 years old.
Mhm.
And then there was a white lady. She was working out like it was in the same area she was
Yeah.
down. And I know, and so the two young white girls, they was on the left. The white lady was
Mhm.
kind of in the back, but then I ended up going to the right immediately. This is how my mind is programmed.
Mhm.
Immediately when I went in there, I went to the right. Now, where they was
Yeah,
at, I normally go to that area because I, do the
yeah,
mat and I do my abs and stuff.
yeah,
So I went and got on another machine until they got, until they finished.
yeah, yeah,
Immediately, when I went over to the right, the white lady literally got up. I'm telling you,
yeah.
this is a true story. She got up, the older one
Mhm.
got up, and she didn't know them. They didn't. I
Yeah.
was able to tell that when she got up, but she
Mhm.
came down and she would just kind of got on the machine, like maybe one, expect two or three for me, but she was
Mhm.
trying to in her way protect them from me. That's the way I
Yeah,
picked up.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just like, this
yeah,
is crazy. This is
yes,
crazy. So I
yeah,
did a little
yeah,
full exercise, and I did this on
yeah.
purpose too. I did a full exercise. I got up and left, and maybe about 2 minutes after I got up and left, I walked back around. She had moved all the way back in the spot that she was in.
Mm,
True story.
wow,
True story.
wow.
And
Yeah,
so, but I'm used to that though. I'm
yeah,
used to that, and I'm older, and I
yeah.
hear myself, but I don't,
Mhm.
want to give somebody the wrong
Yeah,
impression
yeah.
because of their own
Mhm.
biases,
Yes, yes.
biases and stuff like that. I just,
Mhm.
I see it, I move accordingly, move on,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it still happens, like you said.
yeah. And it happens. I remember first, it wasn't my first job. Well, as an adult, I had my first kid living on my own, and I worked for this corporate place and the lady, she was Asian.
Yeah,
I experienced it from, not just
yeah,
saying, well,
yeah,
Caucasian people, but
yeah, yeah. Oh,
other
100%.
nationalities too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
They treat us
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. And it
it's,
and it
yeah.
does plays on your mental health. I think
Hmm.
for myself at least, it just I know I have to be extra cautious. Like this is
Yes.
how my mind think. I'm like,
We have to. Yeah.
yeah, if
It's
I'm
like we're
going
programmed.
somewhere, I'm just like, okay, I just let me, if I see certain people, and you're right, it could not just white folks,
Yes.
it's other people too. I
Hmm.
will
Hmm.
specifically move, go the
Hmm.
long way around. I'm just like,
Yes.
because you can see it,
Yes.
you can sense it, you can
Yeah.
feel it.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
just, yeah,
Yeah. It's like this is automatically how we train ourselves,
yeah, yeah,
and like I tell our youth and people, when because we feel like, that when we're on a job or we're in a certain place, like we have to
yeah,
know this.
yeah,
We have to be 10 times.
yeah,
No, you don't.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't have to know everything.
yeah,
Speak your truth.
yeah,
Learn. It's
yeah,
okay to learn.
yeah.
But that's how we think. We got to be polite. We got to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, because then it messes with your head. Then
It
you're
does.
messed up. You can't
It does.
focus.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Anxiety, it gives you anxiety.
it does. It really
Mhm.
does. 100% it does. And it does make you think that you have to work a little bit
Mhm.
harder,
Yeah.
because
Do
of,
this person like me? This person, and you really be liking the person.
yeah,
This person like me. This person
yeah,
not like.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot, and even as for a child, you
yeah,
know, for a
yeah,
young child.
yeah.
Hmm.
What do you
Yeah.
think about those? Have you been following those protests for
Oh,
the ISIS in LA and all that?
yeah, yeah. I've been seeing a little bit of it. So I'm gonna be honest again. you
Yeah,
know, um, I get it, but I don't think that is, for one, oh, this is how I feel it. You're wasting our dollars.
yeah,
We're wasting money. And and it's traumatizing people. It's unfair.
yeah,
Now, I, is there a way that we can find out like, are they really the ones
yeah,
that don't belong here?
yeah,
But just to go pick on people, taking them off their jobs, their school, churches, or whatever, or just off the street.
Yeah.
That's so traumatizing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I have people I know.
mhm,
Um, well, first of all, I didn't even know that was going on, to be honest with you. And
yeah,
somebody I know was, was kind of depressed and
yeah,
he was asking this interview. I said, "Hey, you okay?" And just small talk. And they was like, "Yeah, the stuff that's going on in LA." And I was like, "What's going on in LA?" Because I don't really watch the
yeah,
news. And
yeah,
so I
yeah,
ended up getting on my phone and I was
yeah,
like, oh. And so this individual was telling me that they actually have family that was
mm,
being affected by that
reported,
situation in LA. And but this person is, they're legit. They went through all the
yeah,
proper channels to be here.
yeah,
But it really bothered this person. And I
yeah,
I sympathize. And
yeah, mhm,
he asked me, just to be honest, which he asked me, he said, now I kind of see how you all feel.
but yeah,
Those
mhm,
his
mhm,
words. Those were
yeah,
exactly his words.
mhm, yeah,
And he was like, am I going to get pulled over?
yeah,
Thinking that I'm not supposed to
mhm,
be here and,
yeah.
you know,
It's an awful feeling, yeah.
yeah, and
I get it, but I just wish there was another way.
yeah,
I just wish
yeah,
there was another way
yeah,
for people not getting hurt.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see our National Guards,
yeah,
that's a lot of I can imagine how much that costs.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I
yeah, it's
just
awful.
to see,
Hmm. Hmm.
people on a daily basis, not everybody, but some people that's,
Yeah.
part of that community, to
Hmm.
see them being affected by that. I know one girl I know,
Yeah.
she's married to
Yeah.
a Mexican guy.
Yeah.
Her kids are Mexicans, and
Hmm.
she just broke down, started
Yeah.
crying. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
it,
It
it,
kind of
it-
remind me. It kind of remind me like remember when 9/11
yeah,
happened, and it's the Arab, and then when you see a person, it's like I
yeah.
don't, I'm not judging you. I try to make it very
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes,
comfortable,
yes, yes,
like
exactly. Yeah,
like you see, what
exactly,
I'm saying, that feeling, like because
exactly.
I don't want you to think I'm
Yeah,
prejudiced of
exactly,
you, like
exactly.
yeah, that's what it kind of
That's exactly
feel
right.
like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I will be honest. I mean, I've gotten
And
on,
I'm comfortable.
right,
Still
right. Right. But it puts you in that space where, like, the social media, the media, the news,
Yeah,
whatever, they
yeah,
put so much stuff in front of your face in your
yeah,
eye. You don't know what to believe and what you shouldn't believe.
yeah,
But then you go
yeah,
out there,
yeah,
but that stuff is still programmed
mm,
in your mind, and then
yeah,
you like, oh my God, is this person finna blow?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. Like I was at the wash house a couple of weeks. No, this is maybe 2 weeks ago, and I heard this guy. He was on the phone talking about LA, and I didn't know what he was talking about. Like I hadn't followed, but I see on YouTube those stuff. I didn't pay attention. Then my son told me, like he broke it down to me. I was like, oh my God, this is what's going on. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that makes me feel like, well, which was next for us
Yeah.
too. Like it's just yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but yeah, it's yeah. Woof. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
Javon, guess so we have run out of time as usual. I do enjoy
Yes.
having a conversation with you and talking with you
Yeah.
on these many different topics. It's a joy. That's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.